As you can see here, I got both sleeves done. They're looking pretty good. And my next step is going to be working on the body. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of ironing, get a few pieces ironed up, and then we can start attaching all the pieces of the body. Alright, so basically we got the sleeves done, so now it's time for us to start working on the body. I'm going to go through a few tips, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm going to be doing. I like to do stuff sort of all at once here, not just work on one little piece at a time. I usually like to set up a few stitches at once and then do all those stitches and then start working from there. So I'll show you what I'm going to be doing, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I got the shoulder supports actually put in here. If you notice, there's nice little white lines here. These actually mark the outside edge of the actual shoulder support itself. Now I'm putting these on the inside, and so I know that the outside stitching is going to look nice and neat. I like to put a little white line right here just to signify where the actual line is at, and then I can go ahead and make it nice and straight and even along here, and I know that I'm actually catching the material and not kind of going off. So I already got it pinned up, ready to go for that. So I'm going to do those 4 lines of stitching, and I'm just going to use a running stitch going across there. The next part that I'm going to be doing is, after that, I'm going to be doing a running stitch along the 2 outer edges of the collar here. And then once I'm done with that, I'll do a little bit of trimming, fold it inside out, just kind of like how we did with the cuffs itself. And then I'll also have one edge actually folded. So remember to go I'm going to be starting actually about a ½ an inch away from the bottom. And then after that, once I get that done, I will then go ahead. If you notice, I kind of marked the same thing. This is the one pocket. I'm only going to be doing one pocket on this shirt. That's going to go on the left hand side. So I'm going to get this prepped up, and what I'll be doing is I'll put a line of stitching across here, just above here. This line actually signifies the bottom of the fold on the other side. And after that, I'll go ahead and I'll put a buttonhole on there then too. And I use regular school chalkboard chalk for it. Nice thing about this is that it easily comes off. I don't have to worry about it staining or anything. I can just take a little water and just sort of brush it off, and even sometimes I can even just take a regular brush and it'll brush right off. So but it's easy to clean up, and unlike the fabric markers, which sometimes can be a little bit, I've had it sometimes where, I don't know, this is a little easier to take off the fabric instead of anything else. So but when it comes to actually marking out and cutting on the fabric, I do use the regular fabric pencils then, which I have over there and with the rest of my supplies. So alright, well, I'm going to go ahead, and I got about 7 lines of stitching and a buttonhole to do. And once I'm done with that, then I can go ahead and start working on the placket, and I'll show you guys what I'm going to be doing with the placket then. Alright, so I got my buttonhole done on my pocket, and I also got the seams to the collar done here. After I did the seams, then I went ahead and I snipped a little bit off the corners and the top and right over here. Then I also put a snip right here. That's going to help when I turn it inside out to have the actual nice sharp edges then that will be formed by the stitch line here. So but before I do that, I'm going to, just like with the cuffs, I'm going to turn one side of this collar in, iron it down, and then after that I'll turn it inside out and I'll be ready for attachment. So as for the pocket, then I'm going to fold the 2 sides about ½ an inch, both sides, and then I'll go ahead and fold the bottom about ½ an inch, iron those, and then just put that on the side then for right now. The next part what we're going to be doing is we're working on the placket. I have the placket here, I have it pinned up. Now I sort of did a little bit of testing with folding it over and making sure that when I sew this up, I want to have the lines of the fabric meet up somewhat pretty close to the actual lines of the body. So I got that all ready to go. I'm going to just do a line of just a regular running stitch down about a ½ inch away from the edge. And I'm also going to not go all the way down to the bottom over here. I'm going to stay
probably about 1/4 of an inch to 3/8 of an inch away. So, and I actually have it marked with my my last pin over here as to where my stopping point will be. So I'll run the 2 lines there, and then after that we can go ahead and do a little bit of ironing, and I can start finishing up this placket. Once I get the placket done, put the collar on, then the pocket, and we'll go from there. Alright, so what I first did was I went ahead and on the other side, opposite of where we attached our placket pieces to our body, I went and folded over towards the inside about a 1/2 inch on there, and then after that I went and folded over iron and tried to match it as close as possible to the line of stitching. This is going to be the right hand of the placket, which is going to be underneath this piece over here, so I wasn't too worried about trying to keep the seam lines together. On the other side it's different though. I actually really wanted to make sure I paid good attention, but anyway, I have this side all pinned up, the left hand side. The right hand side then is, I'm just finishing up pinning this. So what I'll do is I kind of feel with my thumb and forefingers exactly where both pieces, both sides of the fabric are. Try to make sure they're nice and even here. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put 1 pin in over here, like so. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my last pin over here, and I'm going to try to right here at the bottom of our stitching. And I'm also, when I'm pinning this up, I also want to make sure I can try to cover up the first line of stitching so that it doesn't show. So I feel it makes for a nice, neater edge here. Now my next step is what I'm going to do is I'm going to on the outside here, down along here, I'm going to be doing a back stitch, and that's going to keep for a that's basically going to make a real nice strong stitch. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead do 2 seams with a back stitch, and then after that go from there. Alright, so alright, well, I got the 2 placket pieces all ironed out. The first placket piece, I cut it down a little bit. The reason why, well, I cut it down just a little bit just so that I'm not having to go through so many layers when I'm sewing at the bottom edge over here. But when I cut out the placket pieces, I like to make them the same length, and then I just trim it down a little bit, and then just in case, if one, it helps with, I don't know, to me it helps make it easier for matching up everything when it's all done. So, but right now I'm at the point I want to try to keep my lines nice and even here, and I'm going to go ahead and put a few pins in here. Get the first one going across like so, and then after that get another pin going up over here. Do one across over here. And I'll continue pinning this up. And then after I have this pinned up, I'm going to go ahead and do a line of back stitching from here down across the bottom, up and around, and then across again back over here. And what that's going to do, and after I'm done with that, then there's another line of stitching that I'll be going, and I'm going to show exactly what I'm doing. But I'm going to continue on with the back stitch here and do that. So, yep. Alright, so as you can see, I've already got one line of back stitching. This is the actual wrong side of the fabric. I got one line of back stitching. And then what I'm going to do right here, because we got this nice raw edge from the actual body piece itself right here, I'm actually going to whip stitch all this going across, and that's going to help secure, make this a lot nicer here, and it ain't going to fray and fall apart on us. So I'll continue to whip stitch. Now when I'm done and I get to the other side over here, I'm then after that going to continue on going across to the other side, doing a back stitch then. And then after that I'll hide the knot on the other side underneath the actual placket pieces itself. So, but then once I do that, then we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to the collar. I'll show you how I pin the collar right up to the body itself. So, and then we'll go from there.